Happy Monday. Welcome to another sneak preview. I'm Connor Eyzaguirre.
I'm Caleb.
And today we're discussing two horror flicks. First, the insanely gruesome Taiwanese zombie movie, The Sadness, and then the lackluster Stephen King adaptation, Firestarter. So pretty opposite ends of the spectrum here. We got epic, creative new horror and the same shit that keeps ruining King adaptations again and again. So, yeah, interesting show today.
Yeah, at this point, we really gotta hope that this Salem's Lot is in the right hands. I know Ron's producing it, but it's also Gary Dauberman directing it, and he did Annual Comes Home, which I found to be mediocre at best. So,
Firestarter really burned me, pun intended.
Really, this one? I feel like you already got burned a while back on Pet Sematary, and then this one just added to it.
I keep getting my hopes up, and it keeps not working out, and that's a bummer. Because early on in the early days of the King Renaissance resurgence, we had It, which was great. We had Mr. Mercedes, which started out great. Castle Rock was promising, and it was like King's back, and then it got worse.
I am still so fucking mad that Castle Rock got canceled after 2 seasons because I thought season 2 was such an improvement over the first, and I was like, dude, give me a season 3, like holy fuck. Yeah. And I get the news that no, we canceled. I was like, fuck.
Yeah, and here we are, still trying to make something work. Before we get into all that, let's see what happened last week in film. Last week in film. Only one trailer to discuss this week, and it's a pretty deep cut. The teaser for Medieval, a war epic set during the Middle Ages from Czech filmmaker Peter Jackal. It's set for a September 8th release and stars Ben Foster, Till Schweiger, Sophie Lowe, Matthew Good, and Michael Caine. I know before we started recording, I learned you've never heard of this movie, which I figured it's not getting a lot of attention, but I think it looks pretty cool.
Well, see, it's a good cast. But yeah, it's one of those trailers that slipped past me.
Fair enough.
Yeah. All I got with Medieval stuff right now is I'm very like balls deep in Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I'm a Viking assassin, and it's quite a bit of fun.
Nice. Yeah, this has it's like a biopic of some like legendary 15th century Czech warrior or something. I don't know. But Michael Caine did the voiceover. Ben Foster's like the main guy. It looked intense. So check it out when we're done here. I think you might like it. It had a kind of a Last Duel vibe to it, but without all the drama.
Okay.
A sequel to Dirty Dancing is in the works with original star Jennifer Grey. Long Shot and Warm Bodies director Jonathan Levine is set to direct, and apparently she wants Harry Styles to be the boy toy to her older dancer thing. I haven't seen Dirty Dancing. I just think it's weird that he's like 40 and she's like 16. So no.
Hey, don't you deny the power of the Swayze.
It's the 80s. Anything goes.
Technically, anything still goes because Hollywood has proven time and time again that if there's two things they're apparently okay with in their films, it's underage relationships, or how you want to put that, and incest. They just have zero issues with either of those two being plot points.
Apparently, but in the 80s, they both had to be hot for people to be okay with it.
Yeah. I mean, when you get someone like fucking Patrick goddamn Swayze and a very young Jennifer Grey, I mean, yeah.
Well, they're doing Dirty Dancing again, and Jennifer Grey, who hasn't really done anything besides trash talk her relationship with Johnny Depp that lasted like a day, she's going to be in it, trying to get some of her clout back. So I don't think this is going to work at all. So we'll see.
I don't think anyone's asking for a Dirty Dancing sequel. And I think the most people that usually, when it comes to the Dirty Dancing fans, it's people that really like Patrick Swayze. Like, it's usually like diehard Swayze fans that think that's one of his best films.
I've yet to meet anybody who's like, Jennifer Grey is my favorite actress of all time, and I can't wait for Dirty Dancing 2, God willing.
Yeah, no. I'm gonna say the biggest draw of that movie was the man, the myth, the legend.
What I'm worried about is Top Gun Maverick being incredibly successful, and we get a giant surge of 80s sequels that nobody asked for.
Yeah, right. It's just completely destroys the King Renaissance. That's done. And now instead we're getting 80 sequels. As
Ferris
if they are
Bueller,
related
2,
anyway.
16 Candles, 2, Weird Science, 2, Police Academy, 9.
I don't need Matthew Broderick back as Ferris Bueller. I'm okay.
I guarantee you, if like the looming success of Top Gun, which looking like it's going to be a hit, all of this stuff is currently being pitched. I guarantee you.
Yeah, I mean, what's Broderick doing anyway? I'm being married to. Oh, and that, you know what? It'd be almost fitting if he did do a Ferris Bueller Days 2, because his wife is currently fucking filming Hocus Pocus 2.
Oh my God.
I just fucking clicked on that.
Oh no. What's it going to be? Ferris Bueller at like working an office job and realizes, oh my God, I wasn't paying attention and life did pass me by. I need to do something fun. And his boss probably like hunting him down, and that's going to be like, I don't know, fucking Zach Galifianakis or something.
We're going to find a way to cram the famous Bueller.
Ben Stein's still alive. I'm sure still wanting a check. So
I was like, that, you know, that's going to be the other thing, because based off what I've seen in the trailer for Top Gun 2, it's going to repeat shit from the original. You're going to get your volleyball fucking beach scene. You're probably going to get, you know, Danger Zone at some point.
It's not going to be Kenny Loggins, though. It's going to be some shitty, you know, modern band doing a version of Danger Zone.
Question is, would it be a modern rock band or like a modern rap band? What would fit more for that?
It's going to be like an Evanescence style. It's going to be during like somebody's funeral. Like a sad Danger Zone.
I have the beat of Bring Me to Life, but it's Danger Zone.
Oh, somebody needs to mesh that.
That is true too. I forget that they do that, where they just like, hey, let's take this really happy song and just make it slow and depressing, like Smells Like Teen Spirit and Black Widow, to the point that I did not. Yeah, remember they did that?
I'm remembering. I'm like, yeah, that was a bummer.
Yeah. Granted, that was one of the better ones I thought, actually, but still bummer. To the point that I remember when the Batman came out, I think it was on one of these shows at WU. I thought they did the same thing. I was like, God damn it. You know, that's the actual song. I was like, oh, thank God.
Yeah. They do it in trailers all the time. They'll take a popular song and just make it sad. And now that's trying to add drama to a trailer. It's got to the point where like I play bingo with it. I'm like, oh, there it is. Who had fucking 10 years after I'd Love to Change the World? Who had that?
Yeah, it's like a trend that just kind of no one's talking about, which is crazy. No one's talking about, but it's been happening for a fucking while. And it's to the point where I'm getting bugged. I'm just like, stop doing that. Please stop taking a popular rock song from long ago and remixing it to something somber and depressing. Stop it. At this point, just make it a fun rap song for I care. Do something other than a somber thing with it.
Well, we'll see.
I want to rap. I want a rap version of Danger Zone. God damn it.
That'd be awesome. I can't wait in Dirty Dancing 2 when we get like a sad new version of I've Had the Time of My Life. This is just so misguided. Speaking of sequels nobody really asked for, Paul Feig is going to be directing a sequel to his 2018 sleeper hit A Simple Favor, with Anna Kendrick and Blake Lively returning. Remember that movie?
Yeah, I never watched it, so it didn't really look that good.
Yep, same. I had to work it, so I saw it, a lot of it out of sequence, and none of it made sense to me. So that's all I got for Simple Favor. Never watched it.
For a minute, you're going to say he's doing a sequel to Bridesmaids. I was like, they very rarely make sequels to comedies, apparently. Some of these guys.
Yeah. Simple Favor was his like branch out of comedy, which I think because in the trailer, like I kept expecting a joke to drop and it didn't happen. And it was like the movie just felt like all set up to a joke we're not getting. The trailer had that vibe.
Oh, they don't know how to sell a film that it's not. I don't. Okay. I I don't care. I didn't care. I didn't bother to watch the first film. I don't intend to watch the first film. I'm not watching the sequel.
Yep, same. Speaking of sequels,
Oh my god.
it was this one I'm looking forward to, though. A sequel to the 1984 cult classic comedy This Is Spinal Tap has been announced, with original director Rob Reiner returning, along with original stars Michael McKean, Christopher Guest, and Harry Shearer also returning as the members of Spinal Tap. And seeing them as like old rocker dudes trying to recapture the glory, that sounds entertaining.
No, this one I'm down for, and you can make that work because how many times has that actually happened? You know what I mean? Where like these metal guys, these rock guys have been doing it since 70s, 80s. They get back together for that one last hoorah, that one last out, that one last turn, recapture the magic. Happens all the time. I'm sure with all the bands I listen to that are starting to hit their 20, plus year existence, eventually it's going to happen with them. It's a part of the rock and metal scene. It happens a lot. So yeah, it's a perfect thing to tackle and have fun with.
Yeah, I agree. Fun fact, I don't know if I've mentioned this before. I think I have, but I'll say it again. This Is Spinal Tap is the only film on IMDb to be rated out of 11.
Because it can go up to 11.
Yeah, I love that. That's just a clever little in joke. That's wonderful. That's such a funny, stupid movie.
It can go to 11, right? No, it can only go to 10.
Why not just make 10 louder? Because these go to 11. Funny. Yeah. If that movie does happen, like you can bet we'll be doing the original Spinal Tap on Filmgazm that week. That'll be fun.
And that was news I kind of forgot to tell Josh because I try to keep him up to date on stuff. I need to tell him that, see what he says.
Yeah, I'm curious. This was weird. Brad Pitt's action comedy Bullet Train has been postponed a week to August 5th. So
yeah,
just a week.
I was like, okay. I never understand the random like move it 1 week things that happen. I'm like, why?
I think because they were afraid of opening alongside DC League of Super Pets. You don't want to open next to a kid's movie. Like
That's
they're gonna win.
As we've seen in modern film, like I've always said, kind of goes back to like, they make films depending on what the audience is paying money to see. And right now what audience are saying is that if it's not a superhero film, we don't want to fucking see it. So with these films like Bullet Train and other stuff that are original and different and actually trying to do something different. Again, I'm I'm a big fan of the MCU, so I'm not going to sit there and trash it, but you're definitely telling the studio what you want to see at the box office, but how much they make and how much these other films don't make.
Yeah.
I get them. If that's the case, then yeah, okay, move it a week so you have a chance to fucking compete. I know I was going to see it regardless because I personally don't want to see League of Super Pets.
I kind of do. I mean, it's going to be stupid, but it's also, Keanu Reeves as Batman, which I want to see.
I want to see him as John Wick. All right. I am still harboring deep-seated anger from not getting John Wick 4, or the fuck they subtitle it this year.
Yeah, I don't think it has an official title yet. It's still just John Wick 4.
Well, okay. John Wick Chapter 4. They're acting like we don't know that they're not going to put chapter in the title like they've done the past 2 sequels.
Yeah, but I don't want just a hanger-on subtitle that doesn't match the first 2 movies. I just don't like that.
Yeah, I could have lived without the Parabellum for John Wick Chapter 3. Like, I was fine with just being 3.
But I am looking forward to Bullet Train. I think it looks funny and interesting. And I was going to see it, either way, and now I'll just see it the following week.
Let's say 1 week later now.
Yeah. Next up, Dan Stevens has been cast in the announced sequel to Godzilla vs. Kong, reuniting with director Adam Wingard after The Guest. So Dan Stevens is going to be our human star for what is currently being touted as Son of Kong.
Yep, I've been hearing about that because there's also been rumors now swirling about The Guest 2 happening. And it's because, I don't know if you saw, Simon Barrett and Adam Wingard put out The Guest 2 soundtrack. So they put out music for a movie that doesn't exist as a soundtrack. and apparently they just did it to be fun because they just had all these music ideals. But they said that they went on record saying like it really kind of sparked our creative juices for what we could do with an actual sequel. So like so don't count it out. It could be Guess Two Habits. I still need to see the first one. I've heard a lot of great things.
It's a pretty bitchin' movie.
Yeah, I've been hearing a lot of great things about it. It's been on my things to watch. So
that was on Filmgazm. That was one of our earliest picks from the book when we first started using that, and we had a blast going into the guest. It's a really cool movie. It's very dark and not at all what you think it's going to go. It's full of twists and turns, and Dan Stevens is great.
Yeah, I really try to support Adam Wingard because I went to the same school he went to for film. Except he was successful, obviously, in it, unlike me. So I try to support him because he's a Full Sail graduate. Him and Darren Lynn Bousman both went to Full Sail, so I really try to watch their work. Granted, Bousman outside of Saw makes a lot of films I just do not care to see. So he's a little tougher.
Well, he's got his lane. I mean, he's good at making Saw movies. What, are we going to hold that against him?
I don't. I still think he's made some of the best sequels that franchise has ever gone.
Oh, yeah.
Outside of 6. 6 is pretty bitching, but outside of that one, he's made the better sequels.
Yeah. There's so few franchises with a really good part 6.
Yeah, that one, Friday 13th, part 6 is one of the better ones. Yeah, that's all I
got. Next up, this was just so great to read. Christopher Walken has joined the cast of Denis Villeneuve's Dune sequel as Emperor Shaddam IV, ruler of the known universe. Christopher Walken, ruler of the universe. What a great update. I love that he's able to swing these giant ass franchises still. I read somewhere that I don't think he's ever turned down a role. He just loves making movies. That's why he does so many random weird ass things. And he's going to be in Dune too. Wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, I love Walken. I'm apparently one of the few people on this planet that did not like the lifeless, soul-sucking abyss that was the first Dune. So if you can't tell, I'm really not looking forward to the sequel, but I'll probably hate watching it. It's like a hate fuck, but with Dune.
Fair enough. It's it's a little bland, but I enjoyed it because I really didn't like David Lynch's version, so my standards were low.
I know me, and I'll probably walk away liking David Lynch's version.
I don't know. If you thought Villeneuve's Dune was soulless and bland and weird, that whole movie is the first half of David Lynch's movie. Just condensed as fuck. Yeah, it's not great. Also, if you want to see Sting in a Speedo,
who doesn't want to see Sting in a Speedo?
Fair enough.
Let's be honest with ourselves. Actually, I forgot to ask, what did your dad think? I know he's a big Dune fan.
He liked it. He took him a while to finish it because he watched it. He started watching it the day it was leaving HBO Max, back when it was doing its original run. So he watched the first half. He went to bed. He woke up. It was gone. So then he had to wait for the DVD release. It was just bad luck.
That's why you don't wait the full 30 days it's on Max.
So I think he liked it. Next up, we have 2 unfortunate deaths to talk about. First up, character actor Jack Keller has passed away at 75 years old following a battle with leukemia. Keller was a prolific character actor with over 170 credits, some of which include Men in Black 2, Pineapple Express, The Last Boy Scout, Lost Highway, and The Big Lebowski. For you Lebowski fans, he is the dude's landlord who has the dance cycle about halfway through the film. Yeah, this is a bummer. I liked him. I've seen him in a lot of stuff. He was one of those guys who was always like, oh, I know that guy. And yeah, bummer to hear about this.
Oh yeah. But I know we've said it before, we'll say it again. Character actors really are to me the backbone, the true backbone of film.
Yeah.
When it comes to like the acting hierarchy. Like, yeah, obviously, you have movie stars that are going to sell the movie to people, but character actors are the ones that are, to me, like the backbone. They're holding everything together. They're because they pop up, willing to do whatever it takes. I love that they don't have to worry about how the way they look because they're a character actor. It doesn't matter. Just they're in this quick little part. So so always a loss when we lose a character actor, especially when it's prolific as him. So
yeah, and the Big Lebowski is such a favorite of mine. So, and whenever we lose anybody from that movie specifically, just it's like we lost a little bit of soul, and that sucks because I love the character of the landlord who just mentions this weird dance thing, and then halfway through the movie we see him doing this weird interpretive dance, and it's like, oh yeah, dude said he was going to show up to the it all comes together, and it's just wonderful. It's such a weird scene too.
That's how I feel about like certain horror films as the years go on and the various like actors and directors are passing away. I'm just like, oh no, like Chainsaw Massacre. My God, like watching that now, it's getting to a point where I think like only the hitchhiker and maybe a couple of the actors that played the kids are still alive.
Jeez.
But yeah, besides that, it's like most of the people involved in that film are gone.
That's depressing. Speaking of depressing, we lost character actor Fred Ward, 79 years old, undisclosed thus far. He's a jack of all trades, nearly 90 credits to his name, including Road Trip, Naked Gun 3, Chain Reaction, Remo Williams, The Adventure Begins, Shortcuts, and of course, Tremors. This was a shock. I love Fred Ward. He was always one of my just favorite, there's Fred Ward kind of guy, it's like this movie just got a little better. And yeah, this was a bummer. Rest in peace.
Yeah, that was one of those things where I was doing something. I was having on Friday and happening on Blaze Casting. It's like the first right before I was tuning in for Joe Boffer, and the first thing I see was lost Fred Ward, and I was like, God damn it. Yeah, someone, I know we did the episode on I'm a humongous fan of Tremors. Love the first Tremors to death, and he was always one of my favorite characters. That's how I knew him, was that. And then as I grew up, got older and saw him pop up and other stuff, I'm like, oh hey, there's Fred Ward. Except for a long time, I was like, hey, the Tremors guy. For the longest time for me, just because that's all I ever fucking knew him from. And yeah, it sucks. I really liked him as an actor. I liked him a lot in Tremors. I personally really liked him coming back for the second movie. I thought he was great in the sequel as well. So yeah, huge loss.
He was I love him in Tremors. The first thing I ever saw him in was Naked Gun 3. More specifically, The Naked Gun 33 and a third, The Final Insult. These movies are ridiculous, but so much fun. He plays the bad guy, a terrorist for hire named Rocco Dillon, who attacks the Academy Awards, and he shows up with a gun. He's like, everybody freeze and no one gets hurt. And he fires his gun in the air and a dude falls off the railing. And he's like, starting now. He had great comedic timing. He was committed, and yeah, just rest in peace. We keep losing very specific, random, weird deaths in this year so far. Betty White, Gilbert Gottfried, Bob Saget, Fred Ward. Like, what the fuck's happening this year?
Hawkins, like, god damn.
Unreal, man. And like frequently, like every week.
Yeah. We almost had a week. I think we've only had 1 week where we got lucky.
Feels like it's been just 1 week. And even then, I'm sure there was like some shitty movie news to report.
Just constantly.
Well, before we get into shitty movies, let's talk about the sadness. What the fuck? I was not prepared for this crazy nightmare of a movie.
Wow. I love when I text you these types of films. I know, it's like when I did this to you on Old Boy, where I was like, hey, you should watch Old Boy. I remember the text going, what the fuck? After I was like, just watch Old Boy, didn't you? And I love, in a way, underselling it to you, because I'm like, you have, because like it's not like, yeah, it's part of that enjoyment, being like, oh, I can't wait to fuck the Connor right now, because I know he's not prepared. But it's also like with these types of films, like you have to as it go in, just you can't be prepared. There's no way in hell you can be prepared. You just have to go in going, all right, what's going to happen, and then just sit there and go, what the fuck?
Yeah, I think with a lot of movies, especially horror movies, I think you need to go in as blind as you possibly can, so you can fully absorb the moment. And The Sadness is one of those movies. I recommend you don't look up anything. Just trust our word. This is a fucking crazy movie.
Yeah.
And it's, makes me want to look more into Taiwanese cinema. And just because clearly, Taiwanese horror films don't hold back anything.
Most foreign films do not hold back, unlike America.
I love it. I love foreign cinema because they don't care. They're just making art. They don't have a lot of restrictions. They're just like, I'm going to make this movie and then I'm going to release it. And that's all there is to it. I wish to God we had that here.
Yeah, no, instead we have people going, what about the children? It's like, I don't give a shit about them.
Fuck the children. They can watch Barney in a little insulated white room, which is what you want, and let us all have our stuff over here. That's what they want. They want just a steady stream of PBS, and only certain PBS beamed into their kids' head so that they can just enjoy the nice little, unreal world. And I can't stand that. Movies are, you wouldn't, to me, it's the equivalent of like erasing part of a painting that you find offensive. Like someone else does not find that offensive. Why is this your call?
Yeah, well, that's my whole thing with censorship and kind of what like is kind of going on now with the extreme version of cancel culture. I'll say it like that because I know some people are now getting all pissy and saying like, "Oh, cancel culture is not a thing." It's not. Well, I'm not saying like if you do something shitty, like you are a despicable human being, you should not be like. Yeah, you should definitely be canceled. As far as I'm concerned,
I believe in consequences, but there is such a thing as going too far.
There is, yeah, and like to sit there and try to because someone said something you don't agree with, or like we should censor this because you don't like it, like. That's where it starts getting hairy for me. Or like, a more recent example, right? The whole fucking Chris Rock, Will Smith shit. Like, oh, comedians should watch what they say. Well, okay, then why? Because if you start watching what you say, then what can you say on stage as a comedian? What can you make fun of? You know what I mean? So it's like, no, I've never agreed with like censorship in that way and going as far as we do with the cancel culture.
Nope.
Again, yeah, if you're obviously like, if you're an Amber Heard, if you're a fucking Kevin Spacey, I hope your career is shot. If you're Marilyn Manson, this one speaks a little closer to home for me because you know how much of a fan of his music, I am. I don't think that came out right, but either way. But he's a despicable piece of shit. He shouldn't be making any music. He shouldn't be allowed to make it. He should be done. I don't think he should have gotten that fucking Grammy nomination at all.
No, he should be in prison.
Yeah, so it's like there's a line between like you being an actual monster and there being consequences and you just saying a dumb ass joke on Twitter like James Gunn did 10 or so years ago and then getting fucking fired over a goddamn movie.
Well, my point is that American films are incredibly watered down compared to what we get from other countries. And this movie is a wake-up call for that.
Not watered down at all.
God, no, this thing's overflowing with insanity. And it's incredibly timely and culturally relevant, which I thought was crazy. It's about yeah.
Let's see. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. That's what to me worked about this film so well is that it's look, and we'll get into it because I definitely want to talk about some scenes with you. This film is brutal. This film is depraved. It's been a word and it fits very well, but it's all for a reason. That's what's crazy to me, and I think why I liked it so much. And you'll probably won't be that impressed. You'll probably won't be surprised by my very high score we'll give it when we get to then. But what impressed me is that it's all for a reason. And it's all to say like, where's the line as a human being of mores and boundaries and stuff like that. He is taking such a scathing indictment on fucking humanity in this movie, and it just works. It's fucking brilliant to me.
The moral of the story is, when there's a virus, wear a mask. That's that simple. But this is the extreme case. Thankfully, COVID was not this. But it's a virus that attacks the city of Taipei, infects the city of Taipei, and it destroys the limbic system, which makes people violent, aggressive, sexual sadists who want to kill, rape, and torture everything they see. And that is frightening to just watch people erase their inhibitions and do whatever they want to whomever they want to do it to. And just the look of them, just the black and red eyes, that was terrifying.
Yeah, I thought the look was terrifying. Also liked how they never truly explained how this thing, which has made it more terrifying for me. And again, timely with COVID, because there was all with the COVID at the beginning, like, oh, how is it transmitting? Oh God, what do we need to do? And we're doing all these precautions, and people are still getting, oh shit, you know what I mean? Like all that craziness that was happening. And this one really plays into that, and that they never explain how it's being transmitted. Like at first you think because I know I was like, oh, okay, so like the vomit, so there's a couple times they vomit on people and then they get it. I'm like, okay, that's how they're doing it. But then someone would just get like something, injured, and next thing you know, they turn like, so it was like, oh, well, okay. I am assuming bodily fluids of any kind.
Yeah. I figured it was a 28 days later style situation where if anything got in you, you had it.
Which is horrifying to think of. Any kind of blood, cum, vomit, piss, anything, you're fucked. But even then they had moments where it was like, like the doctor, when you got the fucking axe to the foot, that was his blood. All it was an axe. So unless he had other shit on there, it's just like the movie does a good job of like never explaining fully how this thing is being transmitted. It gives you an ideal, but never says, let me explain it.
Also, they're just people. Like they can still just die like regular people. So like the doc getting axed to the back, like he's not going to turn. He's dead.
Yeah.
But I love the slow burn of this, how it starts out with just like people talking on the news about like, you're saying there's a virus, but there's no death. So like, what's really going on? Like, it's like, I remember all this. Like this, I felt like Marty McFly. Like I've seen this one.
Yeah.
The classic. And just the build up from there of like, now there's weird shit happening outside. And I like how it diverges from the couple. Like she goes to work, he goes to get coffee. I don't know what he does. Yeah, I love that. And how we get to see how they each handle the growing craziness of this infection that just takes over the entire city.
I love how it's just like it like I said, it draws you in real quick. It establishes the people and what's going on. You're like, okay. And you get sucked in, you're like, okay, something's going on. There's little hints like when she's at the on the roof and she stares at him, you're like, okay, something's not right. What's going on there? But then they diverge and he gets to the shop. Everything's normal. Nothing violent. That's the best part. Is like, if you're watching this and you're hearing like how depraved and brutal, because that's all I've heard before this film was like just how far this film goes. I remember thinking like, all right, when are we going to get to it? Like, I've heard it's pretty insane. Man, it gets to this fucking diner scene, cafe scene, where this place is, where this restaurant type situation is.
Yeah.
And it just lays down the gauntlet. Like that lady comes in and scolds the dude with the fucking grease or whatever, the fry stuff. Ugh.
Yeah. Well, just the look of the old woman, like her eyes were so sunk in, her mouth was all fucked up. I was like, Jesus Christ. That freaked me out. I love the two guys at the table like nudging, like, what's up with that? That's weird.
Yeah, and I love how things just start to escalate in that fucking thing. At first it's just her, and then you kind of see as she's doing it, dudes on the background starting to do shit. And I love that the background stuff that's happening as you see it escalating around him.
Yeah, he definitely felt like just like somebody lost in a crazy new world. And I like that. Like the world is the main character, and these guys are just trying to survive in it now. Would you classify this as a zombie movie?
Oh God. I'm one of those that doesn't mind calling 28 Days and Weeks Later a zombie film. I understand it's a fucking virus. I get it. I'm saying this because some horror fans, oh my God. they lose their shit. I'm going to go ahead and say, and yes, I understand it's a fucking virus movie. It's a goddamn virus and not zombies. I get it, but I would put it. I just for easy classification. Yes, I'd throw it the hell in there.
I'm gonna go ahead and say 100%. It's a zombie movie. Change my mind. Go ahead. Yeah,
okay, Steven Crowder.
Oh God, don't even compare me to that piece of shit. Oh, but yeah, I think it's a zombie movie. To me, a zombie is I mean, Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead. That's an infection there too. It's always an infection. That's how zombies show up.
Yeah.
So what's the difference?
Yeah. So yeah, I throw it in there.
Yeah.
God.
I loved the hard cut to Cat on the train.
Yeah. Yeah. When he's like running from all those things, and I'm like, how's he getting out? Oh, we're on the train now. Okay.
When he's texting her and she's not texting back, and he's like, oh God. And then her on the train and the old guy being like trying to hit on her and her just being like, dude, stop it. Like, I'm trying to read. Stop harassing me. And he's like, kids today just want to be friendly, just trying to say something nice. You got to be a bitch about it. And
you wouldn't stop. She told you to stop nicely, and you touched her leg like a creep, dude. Like, Jesus.
Yeah, I've seen you in here every day and you're so beautiful. Yeah, that's going to work.
It's just weird.
God.
I love how things escalate I love how things escalate in the cafe, don't get me wrong, but to me, like the film just throws it at you at first, but then it says this is the film we're going to be in the train sequence.
Well, it's also, it's there's nowhere to go. Like they're all trapped on this train with these psychos who just start stabbing people.
Yeah.
I love how nobody does anything. At first they're like shocked, but then they're terrified. But I love it. They stab like this one guy stabs a few people before anybody even notices what's going on.
Yeah. Dude, look, I'm not gonna lie. So especially Asian cinema, especially Japanese, I should say, is very well known for blood spraying. Like they love fucking you get stabbed and blood sprays like a goddamn fountain. So when they got to that one kid with his headphones on, and he sat down next and the blood just fucking like a goddamn geyser just shot. I had a reaction on my couch. I literally just was like, fuck yeah. Like I lost it. I'm like, there it is. Yes.
I love when people hold him down and, Cat in that one, like schoolgirl is like, are hugging. It's like, it's over. And then someone else starts stabbing people. Shit.
Yeah. It just keeps going. And then like, this is when it really starts to kind of like, you start to realize, oh, this is the movie I'm watching. Cause then it's being told on the loud system. So like they're having sex or raping people, and you see a couple of hints of it in this scene.
Oh God, yeah, when they just take off their pants and start raping dudes, like Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that one guy, they were holding him down. It was a coordinated attack. I was like, Jesus,
dude. And then when, as he just called the businessman, takes out the schoolgirl's eye with the umbrella, and you just see his eyes, and he's like clearly turned, and he's like, I'm gonna hunt you down until I rape you to death. It's like, yeah. Jesus Christ. That was terrifying.
And and the way they held on that shot when it's in her eye, the way they hold, I remember I was like, oh, that's painful. Oh, that's hurting my eye.
How does shit like this completely bypass the Academy when it comes for best makeup? It's right there.
It's a bunch of old white dudes throwing up as they're watching this going, oh, that's not cinema.
As they watch their 15-minute clip of the sadness, and they're like, no,
give me Spencer again. God damn it.
I want to see Kristen Stewart kind of look like Princess Diana. This isn't art. No, Jesus Christ, man. Oh, and then Kat and the schoolgirl just like stumbling their way out of the train station, trying to get away from this dude who's just holding the umbrella and quietly walking towards them. Like, Jesus, the restraint in him. Everyone else is running around crazy. The businessman's weird restraint where he's so goddamn focused scared the hell out of me.
Yeah. Well, again, like I like the idea of this virus for how, to me, people, because they're all very aware, like they're talking to their victims and saying shit. Like they're very aware of what they're doing. Yeah. And the doctor says it later. It's like the urge is so strong, they can't stop. It's like they're aware. They might even feel remorse, but the urge is so goddamn strong.
Yeah, he said it's like trying not to blink. I love the title. The sadness comes from the fact that they're all crying. like possibly from the fact that like they are aware of what they're doing, but they can't fucking stop.
Yeah.
Jesus, man.
They know they're very fully aware. It's just that whatever's doing it's affecting their limbic system, making them just have to keep going. And we'll get more into that then when I think there's a really oddly beautiful scene at the end of the film with a Cat and her boyfriend. I forget his name right now.
Jim.
That's why I remember that scene. I was like, really, Jim? That's his name? I'm like, okay.
I think this thing is beautifully shot. Like there are some incredible frames in this film. I'm like, I see when people say, you know, horror movies are like, you know, beneath them, that it's not art, that it's, you know, trash. I'm like, look at movies like this. This is beautiful in a really freakish, sick way. You can like that stuff. It's okay. Like you can say you like it. It's all right.
Yeah, I'm telling. I know I texted you. This is easily, unless something really surprised me, it's going to be in my top 10 for the year. Like this film really blew me the fuck away. I'm voting for it heavily during next year's Firestarter Chainsaw Awards for whatever categories it's in.
Hell yeah. Jeez.
But yeah. So yeah, we get the really cool. You know, they ultimately escape out of the train station after almost getting locked in by the douchebag.
Well, look, she keeps falling, and Kat's like, "Get up, get up!" I kept expecting her to leave her.
I thought I was like, "Oh, she's going to leave her."
Yeah. When the gate starts closing, I thought she was just going to be like, "Fuck this," and just dove. But no, she saved her.
I was like, God bless Kat, and then punches that dude for closing it.
That dude was such a prick.
I fucking hated that guy.
What a sad little man. His anime titty phone case and just.
We will get to something that was very satisfying for me with them later. But we have to talk about this entire upcoming sequence because holy shit.
Yeah, we do.
So before we do that, though, we cut back to good old Jim of Tyrone. And he runs into some baseball players, some baseball kids, seemingly torturing an innocent civilian. Well, wait, before that, he does witness someone fucking a dead corpse. I should point out there's necrophilia in this movie, people. You're
not going to make a movie about sexual depravity and not include necrophilia. It's just not done.
But yeah, after he sees that and gets out of the city, we get to this scene, and this guy, holy shit, he looked worse for wear.
He barely had a face anymore. It was just a lump of bruised flesh. I couldn't see his nose, his eyes. It was just mounds of pudding. It was crazy.
It was, oh God. And then like, I'm thinking like, I love how like he hits him on the head and he's like, why would you do that? We need him conscious. It makes it more fun. Like hearing these people talk to each other was like both like just a nice touch. Like again, like having them talk was a nice touch. It added just a different level to it.
It wasn't, they weren't mindless, like rage-filled zombies. These were people with no more restrictions who were doing whatever they want in a coordinated, focused, planned way, which was way scarier.
Yeah. Fucking. If you're wondering, well, this scene doesn't sound true. I figure like the guy's just mangled up. Oh, it gets bad. When the guy wrapped I think it was barbed wire or whatever, around the pole, I'm thinking, what are they doing? What's going on here? And then they grab him and ram his fucking balls into it. Like
I had a feeling something was up because like when Jim goes over there to help him, you can see that the dude is clearly hard. I remember thinking like, is that a trick? But then he's like, why? Just stop. Like I was close. Like shit. Okay. That was on purpose.
Yeah, I did. I didn't even notice that at first. So when he said that, I was like, oh, I actually had a moment of like, oh shit. Thought this was going to be like Jim's buddy for a bit. And no. Yeah, the whole.
I love how the movie keeps like subverting expectations for that. Everyone you think is going to be like part of the team, there is no fucking team. Like it's just, survive as long as possible. And everyone who has like a line of dialogue gets such gruesome deaths in this movie, man.
This is to me a very realistic take of like you surviving. And then with that, before we get back to the hospital scene, one last little scene I want to talk about before we get back to it. Especially when subverting expectations. So we've seen films like this before, right? Lovers are separated, they have to get together. Train to Busan didn't do anything too different with the dad and his daughter having to try to escape the train that they were on with the zombies. Which if you like this, I highly recommend you watch Train to Busan if you haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I haven't yet. That's been on my list for a while.
Oh my god, fucking brilliant goddamn movie as well. So usually, right, the whole plot is they need to get back together. And usually if it was an American made film, the happy ending would be they get back together and they go to live in this now uncertain future, right? That would be the American ending. This film at this point, before we get back to hospital stuff, I'll get into that whole sequence, establishes that guess what? Jim's fucking infected. Because we have the scene earlier when his neighbor cuts his damn fingers off in those fucking shoot, which I was like, dude, you should have seen that coming. Like, you don't hold. I get it, you were defending yourself, but like that's the sharp part. Your hand's there. It's ready to get fucking snipped.
Yeah, now he's forever rock and roll.
Forever rock and roll. But we get that quick scene where he's staring at the doll head, and all of a sudden you see it like become an actual human head and like tongue flick around. You're like, you see him kind of shaking. I'm thinking, and that's when I went, oh shit.
As soon as a tear came out of his eye, I'm like, oh no, we lost Jim.
Yep. I was
good old Taiwanese Jim.
Taiwanese Jim is infected.
Oh man, dude, I can imagine. Like, you try to pitch this movie in America, your career is over. They're gonna call you a sick bastard. You're never gonna work in this town again. But in Taiwan, they're like, yeah, $5 million. Yeah, bring us a rough cut in 6 weeks.
5 million, and it becomes like a humongous fucking hit in the horror community, and it's like the talk of the town.
This is gonna be pitched for an American remake, and it's gonna get so watered down. If it
if it happens, I will not fucking watch it. I will not see it. Goddamn. Because again, like I said, like the brutality isn't just thrown in to be in there for shock's sake. I'm sure he does some things to shock people, absolutely, but it's not just yeah. But he's not doing it just to shock. He's making a point, and that's what, like, I think again why I like so much. There's a point being made. There's very much him, and actually, Businessman says it at one point before he dies when he tells us, like, "See, you're just as depraved as I am," or something like that. There's a fucking point he's taking and making on humanity and how we treated this whole pandemic we in real life had.
We are a global community of selfish fucks who doesn't care about our neighbor nearly as much as we like to claim we do.
Yeah.
That's what COVID showed me.
Yes. And I very much, I felt like that was his way of saying this, in a way of like, all it takes is something to happen. We don't have animation. It's a fucking dog eat dog world out there.
Jesus.
So yeah, but with that said, let's talk about this entire hospital sequence, because holy shit.
I loved the government address when the government comes on from like the secret bunker, and the general's like, now the president, and the president's like, okay, there's no proof that this is the virus that has been going around, but we will continue to investigate that. Like, dude, the election is over. It's not happening. Stop it. And then when the general like turned in and he like shoved a grenade in the president's mouth, like, fuck.
I love how you see it happening, because I remember as they're doing it, the camera kept doing tricks, and everything, like, something's up. He's fucking infected. This is about to go south real quick. And yeah, he just fucking puts a grenade in his mouth and blows his head up on national TV.
I love that it's played like a Looney Tunes thing. Like it's almost like it's like a goofy confetti explosion, and then like, technical difficulties, please hold. I love that one person's like, well, now what the fuck do we do?
Yeah. We lost the president.
Oh God. When the schoolgirl gets in the wheelchair and she's like, thanking Kat, like, you saved my life, I'm not going to forget it. That was a trick, as we were like, oh, well, we'll see her again. She's going to make it.
Yeah, I know. I was like, oh, sweet, she's going to make it. I was like, she's either going to make it, or if she turns, she'll have this moment of remembering her somehow.
She'll have a self-sacrifice moment or something. But Oh no.
No. Instead, after we have some relatively safety, finally, they start bickering in there. Dude with the douchey little guy with the animated titties on his phone, starts demanding his phone back. She's trying to get a hold of Jim, and as all this is happening, who pops up behind one of the cops?
Businessman
Holding a fucking axe.
I do real quick. I do love when the guy's like, "Give me back my phone," and Kat's like, "You tried to kill me. I'm keeping the phone."
Yeah.
Like, give me a minute.
Dude, Kat, it's like I wanted more of her. She is so sharp in her responses. Like with the businessman virus. I've told you to stop. I will fucking file for sexual harassment. Like, you fucking go. You fucking go, Kat.
Yeah. But yeah, the businessman is going to go down as one of the scariest movie villains I've seen in years.
Yeah.
My God. The way he moves, the way he like talks, the way he leers at her. Jesus Christ. That's years of pent up sexual aggression rising to the surface because of this virus. Like he's been focusing on her on that commute for God knows how long.
Yeah, and now it's his inhibition has been taken. So he doesn't give a fuck anymore. And he will fuck her to death as he told her.
Yep. Axes that cop immediately.
No hesitation.
Nope. And they start swarming the hospital.
Yeah. I like how she quickly escapes out through the side door to the staircase, which then leads to a moment that I was waiting to see if you would text me or not.
I didn't care that you were asleep. I needed to tell you, like, what the fuck was that?
And I know. And I remember when I woke up to the text, I'm like, oh, he got to that scene. But yes, businessman wanders the hallway. Oh yeah, the fucking douchey prick dude. He hides somewhere. He hides underneath the thing. This is important because we're going to get to some other fucking scene with him later. But yeah, he wanders the hallway, and I don't know if like they put her there to wait or they were like, yeah, we'll take care of her, and then pulled the classic, oh, just put her, we're not going to take care of her move because other shit's going on. But
I think they cut their losses with like, fuck this. She's already, we can't make it out all together. Like every man for himself kind of situation.
Yeah. So she's just left in the hallway. Businessman sees her and remembers her and proceeds to take off the bandage covering her eye wound that he caused earlier. Unzips his pants. Thankfully, the camera is panning up, but you know what's happening by what's been taken off. And he fucks her wound as she is screaming.
I have never in my film watching journey witnessed a skull fucking in a film. So that was new. And, as I've often said, I'm always looking for new things in movies. Didn't think that was going to happen. I probably should have guessed considering what had happened thus far. I was like, that's not off the menu. This is anything goes. Good God, man. Oh, Jesus. And that's what turns her. He fucking came in her head.
Yeah, I was like the cum that went into her brain. Think about that for a minute. Oh God, I've joked. I've heard skull fucking. I've heard them reference skull fucking movies. I've never actually seen it. Granted, I mean, like I said, the camera pans up. They're not going to show it.
I don't think any makeup artist on earth
actually
can fake that one.
Wait, I have seen skull fucking on. Oh, God damn it, Serbian film. Okay, never mind. I have seen it on camera. It just came back to me.
They showed it in that.
Yeah, they did show in that.
Are we sure that's not a snuff film?
Pretty sure.
Have you seen the people in that do interviews or like in other stuff? Are they alive?
I've seen them do interviews. Yes.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know what makes this like more haunting is like what the actual act or her screams. Like to this actor's credit, like God damn, like hearing her scream, I'm like, and especially like she's so weak because I think it's kind of hinted that she was starting to turn. Like there was something happening, or maybe she got fucking stabbed in the eye. She's weak.
Yeah, blood loss and shock.
Yeah. So she's just at first like kind of mumbling stuff. You can kind of hear me like, oh no, you're thinking like, oh, she's really like she can't even fight. And Yeah, once it's in there, you start to hear a scream because it's like, yeah, there's a fucking hard dick in your eye moving.
I wonder if this is the moment that
Completion.
convinced that the businessman, the guy who played him, to sign on, where he's like, "I'm in." Like, because he had to read the script and be like, "Jesus Christ, like, I'll take it." And like directing that day, like, all right, so you're gonna skull fuck this lady. Bring the passion, and you bring the fear. Action.
You know the wound you caused earlier with the umbrella? You're going to put your dick in that.
I wonder if he's like, all right, and then when do we do the scene? There had to have been some levity, or else this shit would have gotten way too dark on set. They had to have been joking around. I hope to God. I hope they weren't like very serious, like, she's in pain and you're gonna cause it. Like, it had to be. Oh, man.
Bring the pain.
Ah!
Oh boy. Yeah, so this happens. We get some more with Kat in the fucking stairs, but not too much. But really what I want to highlight before we get back to like Kat and kind of towards the end of this film is now the douchebag kid guy. I forget his name.
A lot of people don't have names in this movie. It's just like the businessman, that guy.
Yeah, because he dies so quickly. But he gets out of hiding and starts to, I almost assume, navigate his way out of this hospital quietly. And as he does that, we get, not too long after a skull fuck, we get a bunch of infected having an orgy covered in blood.
Yeah, blood orgy. And after the skull fucking, honestly, I was pretty unfazed by that.
Yeah, I just think it's funny that, like, because I remember thinking, like, well, wait, what are they? If they do this to everyone, what are they going to do to each other? They're just going to have fucking depraved sex, essentially. That's it. They're like, well, we're just going to have to fuck like rabid animals.
Yep.
Oh
man,
he makes it past that quietly. I'm thinking he might get out of here. I don't want him to get out of here. But who do we come upon? The lady that's been skull fucked, who's very much, you don't have to see her face right now, but you're like, she's turned. Like how they show her, you're, even from the back, you're like, she's fucking turned. She's not one of us anymore.
The eye wound was much more intact than I was expecting. I was expecting a full gaping hole.
Just like semen.
I was expecting to see like cum dripping out of brain. Like, I know, but at this point, I'm like, what can they really do to freak me out from here on? So,
oh god,
I think even at somewhere the Taiwanese had to be like, all right, so you can't show that,
right? Someone's like, okay, look, we gotta at least not put that in, okay? But like any good movie, he fucking knocks something down, and she turns around holding what was it, like a power drill or whatever?
No, it was a like a surgical saw.
There we go. Yeah, if you saw 3, they used it to fucking do the brain surgery on John Kramer.
It's a bone saw.
There we go. Yeah. Very clearly infected. Irene, like I said, not super fucked up, but you can tell, like, okay, there's a dick in that.
Yeah, something long and hard was in that wound recently.
Yes, and at this point, I remember all the things like, you know what? She's probably living a better life right now. Like, let's just be honest. Like, I wouldn't
want to survive a skull fucking. I'll tell you that right now.
Me neither. But now to be like innovations, like I'm just one of these people, so they'll leave me alone. Like, okay.
Yeah, now I get the skull fuck.
That really made me. I had points of film where I thought, like, would I want to die by these people or just become one of them? Like, goddamn.
I don't know. Would you want to, in your brain, be like, I don't want to hurt these people, but I can't stop? Like, I don't know. That's a living hell.
That's why I said it's tough in this one. Because it's like, do you want to be essentially like die gruesomely like that? I forgot when the train signals, when they show the one guy getting into the fucking, he's putting like his thumbs into his fucking eye sockets.
Yeah.
God damn, I would not want to die that way. Fuck.
If I'd hope I'd have the good grace to just kill myself quickly if I saw these guys coming at me.
Yeah, I try to just end it if I could. Just no, kill me and then fuck my dead body. I don't care at that point. I'm dead. Do what you want.
I don't. You do whatever you want to my corpse. I'm not in there anymore.
Yeah, my soul's gone. But yeah, he slips. She turns around, and I guess they got done with their orgy because before he can possibly run away, right next to him is 4 members of the orgy gang.
Yeah, the Fab Four show up and hold him down.
Yeah, Fantastic Four pop up, and not the one you're hoping for.
Nah, the gross one.
Yeah, God,
can you imagine Fantastic Four?
Can you imagine like the MCU superheroes getting infected with this shit?
Dude, this is what the Marvel this guy should do the Marvel Zombies show.
Oh my God.
That would never fucking happen, but that would be amazing.
Kevin Feige watches this and he goes, you know what? If we can get him to tone it down a bit, I want this guy for fucking Marvel Zombies.
The Hulk skull fucks Ant-Man. Oh. You can't open that door and expect me not to walk through it.
All right, well. Yeah, they hold him down. And she bone saws. I was assuming his dick or something off screen.
Oh, he was alive through that entire ordeal. He's screaming, the blood is shooting all over them. God, yeah, that dick came off, or at least was bisected.
It's no longer. I assume dick because how they kind of built him up was like something's gonna happen to this guy's dick.
Yeah, this dude's a rapist in training, and he's gonna get his.
Yeah, I know he did. He did.
They probably fed it to him. I bet they did.
Oh God,
that was implied. That was told by a couple people. Somebody said like, "I'm gonna feed you." Didn't she say that?
I think so. Yeah, I want to feed you your dick or whatever she said down.
Yeah, that's what happens.
Yep. Oh boy,
them's the breaks. Sometimes you're having a good day. Sometimes an infected, one-eyed, recently skull-fucked lady cuts your dick off and feeds it to you.
Can you imagine if the Jackass guys got infected with this shit? That they very rarely have inhibitions to begin with.
They wouldn't change that much. There'd just be a lot more rape. But like their day to day, I feel like wouldn't really change.
It's just a really fucked up. Hey, I'm trying Knoxville. Welcome to Jackass. As like some dude screaming in the background.
She's Steve-O's skull fucking somebody. He's skull fucking a cow or something shit.
That's another thing I wonder. Like, I would actually want mine a sequel to wonder if like do animals get infected by this? Man's best friend turning on their fucking people.
Oh.
And what did they do to their animal? Well, you know what? That probably won't ever get made into a fucking movie. We don't need.
I do want a sequel though. I want to see like maybe this gets contained in Taiwan, but maybe it makes it to China and takes over.
I literally, if it was on this same intensity and brutality, I would be so down for a sequel.
Yeah.
Or if they do it, and it's the same guy, it's gonna be like, we have to up what we did. So if anything, we're going to get an even more batshit insane one somehow.
Skull fucking, both eyes, 2 dicks.
This time the camera doesn't move away.
I don't know. I'm trying to think like where could they go?
Camera just zooms. The camera guy just runs up for a zoom and just, I gotta get the shot.
Oh my God. I don't know where they could possibly go with a sequel. I probably won't get a sequel. This feels like a one and done.
I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah. This is probably gonna buy it real soon because I want to keep watching it.
I'll buy this one.
Oh yeah. As for the hospital stuff, after this, it kind of slows down. We get a quick scene where she's running away from 2 patients at the hospital.
Yeah.
And businessman shows up. I like how
blocks them out. He's like, she's mine.
Yeah, I like how at first they're like, come on, unlock it. And he's like, I'm sorry, boys, but she's mine. And they have a moment of like, okay, you go, you're good. I'm like,
yeah, it had like a my man kind of vibe to it. It was creepy.
Yeah, I'm like, this is so creepy. And then, like I said, this is actually where she gets the better of him and finally gets rid of the businessman.
Yeah, crushes his head with a fire extinguisher, dousing herself in blood, and then the doctor shows up.
The doctor.
Yeah.
And this is the part where I did kind of get worried. I was like, oh god, am I gonna get like generic fucking doctor? And for the most part, this doesn't deviate from much in the lore of like zombie films, but again, they just know how to make it different and riveting. Um the whole idea of like, and I guess just because like they so smartly stuck with clearly doing a pandemic type of scenario, especially after it being after we just had one. This whole stuff about him trying to find like a vaccine works because of again how we were rushing to find a goddamn vaccine that may or may not even work. Luckily, it did work.
Yes.
In real life, right? And this kind of felt like that, where it's like he is desperate to fucking find a vaccine.
That whole scene was so creepy. There was something off about this guy from the beginning, and you just kept wondering like what's he gonna do? And he makes her take the chemical shower, and then is like, sorry about the gun. You might be the humanity's last hope. And also I killed 9 babies.
Yeah. Well, and then you're thinking like, without even giving us any warning, she goes through her clothes in the fucking thing, and there's a fucking infected baby.
Yeah. And then he's like, oh, sorry about that. Hold on. Puts on a big glove and like snaps that thing's neck. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Oh,
which that's another thing. This film implied some horrendous thing happening to babies. When they showed that one like baby carriage where it was just like a mashed thing of guts and stuff, I'm like, what the fuck did they do to that baby?
Oh, they ate it. They fucking ate it. Oh my god, man.
That's another thing. This film, like, they show obviously what they're allowed to show, but they imply so much more that's terrifying and just unsettling. But yeah, something's off with the guy. He has that big long speech, which performance-wise, fucking splendid.
Oh yeah.
But it definitely tells you like, okay, something's up with this guy. Something's not right.
I want to throw this out. The performances of this movie are some of the finest I've ever seen in a horror movie. Everybody in this movie is balls deep in their craft. I mean, good God. The infected, everyone who played it infected is a performance that is going to stay with me forever. They were amazing.
Really. The skull fuck it changed you.
It's gonna, yeah. I'm gonna think about that roughly twice a day going forward in my life. Just like, fuck. It's gonna be there. It's gonna be the catalyst. Oh God.
Oh, but yeah, no, dude, you're right. And this is why I say, man, like I've said before, when it comes to horror and like, and to an extent, metal music, I always kind of put the two together in that regard. But so many people are just affronted. And again, why I love one of the reasons I love this film so much is, obviously wanting to get his point across with what the type of brutality shown, the type of violence he's putting on the screen.
Yeah. He's
also doing it to test your limit. So it's just like, it's saying like, look, yeah, there's this shocking fucking shit on camera. There's orgies, there's skull fucking, there's implications of what's going on. There is some grotesque violence, depravity. But beneath that is a well shot film and a well acted film and just a socially relevant film. And that's why like I've always been such a champion with like, I'm not really ashamed why I kind of get so annoyed with the Oscars. It's like, saying like your esteemed trauma that's essentially safe for anyone to fucking watch owes more than this film that's willing to make you uncomfortable, willing to push you, willing to challenge you, but make a really good point. Yeah. It's just like, for me, it's more rewarding. You know what I mean? Like, I'm more rewarded watching this because, yes, I was challenged and I was uncomfortable at times. And I had moments where even I was like, oh, God damn, that looks painful. But there was a good solid point made that I got at the end that I went, okay, wow, that was fair point on what you were saying, to the director.
Well, it felt like also he's kind of calling people out. Like, if this, like, why does this fake horror bother you, but millions of actual deaths from a real virus doesn't? Like, yeah, it's a good point. Like, this shouldn't bother. This is fake. That woman didn't really get skull fucked. I'm sure she's having a nice cup of tea somewhere right now.
Yeah.
But there are millions of people who actually were killed by a real virus who don't get to go home. And that should scare you more than anything.
Yeah. That's why, like, I just love horror so much. And this film really, to me, of like all the ones I've seen this year so far,
Yeah.
and I can actually say that because we're almost in June, so we're at least halfway through the year. Really encapsulates what I love about horror so much. Like in a weird way, the funness of it. I know this isn't the most fun film. I had a good time with it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Like it was fucking freaky, but I was glued to the screen and I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah.
So,
It actually it was gory as fuck. It had a solid goddamn point, solid social commentary. Like George A. Romero would be goddamn proud type of commentary, in my opinion.
oh, he would have sent this guy a fruit basket. Like, yeah, they'd be buddies.
You ask him to make the next Living Dead film.
Yeah, 100%. He'd be like, I'm gonna bring you to America. Oh my god. Yeah, this was a weirdly beautiful film.
Yes, and actually, this really leads to the last big thing I want to talk about. Because after this, we get like the scene with this and they're escaping to the helicopters, and Jim finally busts through, and we get that scene where he's like, I've come for you, Cat, like I said, and he's clearly infected. They have a scuffle, right? Doctor starts to turn as he's getting killed, and he says that fucking line that it kind of haunts me a little bit when he turns and he goes, all those babies I killed, I enjoyed it. And I was like, oh, you monster.
I was laughing how like the doctor was so careful and he left the room, and 2 minutes later he got axed in the foot and he was done.
Yeah, because he's a terrible shot with the gun. It was
Unbelievable.
Show.
Terrible person. And she really was the key to a vaccine. She couldn't get infected. She was immune.
Yeah. And this gets to like the final part. I'll talk about both the beautifulness of like this scene coming up, but also like the ending. But she gets to the other side of the gate, locks it, and we get to me. One of the most beautiful scenes in this entire film is when she has to talk. She's talking with her boyfriend and ask him, what does it feel? We've on this whole movie just learning what's happening. This idea of like we were saying, right? They know what they're doing. They cry because there's a part of the brain going, this is wrong. I don't want to be doing this. But the drive, like you said, like, how, it's like, the urge to blink, or whatever other urges you have to do as a human, right? That they just have to, the urge is too strong. So we finally get this point in the movie where we finally kind of get an ideal. And she asks him, what does it feel like? And he tells her straight up, he goes, I do love you. I love you so much. And I want to be with you so I can rip your skin off. Like the way, again, talking about the performance, man, like fucking excellent acting. Like, holy shit, the way he delivers that first part of like the love. And you're kind of, even I was falling for it. I was like, okay, there's a part of him still there. It's still there. And then he just, without changing cadence, without changing anything, just, I want to rip your skin off your body. I was like, okay, there it is.
It's the matter of fact of it. It's not like, blah, I'm a monster, blah. It's like, I'm the same guy you knew. I'm just going to rip you apart.
Yeah.
Like, out of love.
Yeah. I want to rip you apart. I think he's like, he's going to cut her like head off. Like he fucking started describing it. And like you said, it was all matter of fact. It wasn't mustache, American bad guy mustache twirling, fucking acting, music overplaying the fucking, no, it was just a matter of fact fucking scene. This is how their mindset works. This is how it is for these people that are infected by it.
And then we get, a fucking gut punch where she gets gunned down on the roof and Jim just smiles into the camera
and dies.
Like, fuck. And then we get like, heavy metal music, like directed by. So they filmed this in 28 days, by the way.
Oh my God. God, yeah, I actually really, again, and I like said, like, obviously it's nice to have the good ending, but because it's had such a theme of being realistic and being timely, I like how this to me was a realistic ending. No offense to a lot of these Asian countries. And America would do the same thing. I don't trust when something like this would go down in any country, including ours. I would not trust the government at all. Because my thought would be like, they're not trying to help anyone. They're going to kill everyone. Just try to start clean.
Yeah, the president's in some secret bunker and the rich are going to rebuild society. They don't give a fuck about you.
Yeah. So that I like, and what I love is that when she starts to like kind of start laughing, I'm sure she was in Moon, but it kind of leaves it ambiguous of like, was she maybe just like taking a while to turn? You know, is anyone truly immune? Maybe she just took longer. Or did she just snap and go crazy because of everything she's fucking been through, which is probably what happened. That's what I took it. She just finally snapped. And then, yeah, she runs out there. What I love is that when it happens, the camera just stays on the smiling, dying boyfriend. And you just hear her scream real quick and the gunshots. And you're like, oh, fuck.
Movie deserves to be in the Criterion collection. Like, it should be in the selection of 2022. Just the shots, the performances, the social commentary. This is everything they look for.
Yeah. Look, I'm gonna say right now, this film's a fucking 9, damn near a 10 for me. I don't remember the last time I've been this blown away by a horror film. And this is, I mean, don't get me wrong, like Shudder, I was really glad to see Spy Night on Shudder. I'm looking forward to Mad God next month. But goddamn, it's gonna take a lot to top this one. I fucking loved this film.
It's a very high 8 for me. We are going to do this on Filmgazm in like a year or so. I want to revisit this film again and like see, like, you know, what we see new things, if our thoughts have changed in any way. Like, I want to do this film again. So that'll happen next year, probably. I heard it's based heavily on a graphic novel series called Crossed, like inspired heavily.
I think I've heard about that.
I've heard, yeah. I've heard a few people recommend that one to me. It's like, it's basically like the most vicious, depraved, psychotic shit ever put on like comic book form. And, you know, since it's, you know, drawn, they can do whatever they want. So
yeah,
there's certain things you can't film that you can draw.
God, see, now I kind of want to get Cross so I can. Oh my God, that explains it. It's created by Garth Ennis.
I know that name.
The Boys.
Oh yeah, no shit. Yeah, of course.
And those are
there's a lot of facts in here. Shit gets lost sometimes.
I'm about to say this is a guy that, from what I understand, both The Boys and even The Boys. I know Preacher obviously on AMC, but The Boys, they had to tame it down from what the fuck he wrote.
I've read the first omnibus, and they've had to, you know, to make Amazon feel like they're going to get their investment back. They've had to tone some stuff down. Yeah,
I mean, apparently, because what I understand is that he wrote The Boys to out Preacher. So he basically wanted to outdo himself.
Yeah, I love any artist who's like, I can do better.
Yeah, which means apparently he's like, I can do even better with Crossed. Holy God.
Yeah, that's awesome. So yeah, this was my favorite film of the week. Because 84 Firestarter wasn't great. Freddy Got Fingered can go fuck itself. Shanghai Express was good, but holy hell, this was new territory, and I'm still floored. Yeah, dude, when I texted you, that was like literally as soon as the credits were rolling, I grabbed my phone and sent that text like, dude, you have to fucking watch this goddamn movie. Yeah, I'm very glad I did. What I love is that I read your review and you said I undersold it, and I'm like, I don't think I did. I was just like, that's the craziest part. You were very much like very upfront about what this was, but even then, I'm like, it still felt like you didn't even come close to describing the fucking crazy shit I saw. I couldn't get into details. So I was like, the broad view, very depraved, very brutal, but fucking beautiful. I can't explain it. Yeah, man. This was awesome. Thank you. God, no, I'm fucking goddamn. Anytime someone tells me horror is dying, fuck what's going on with American cinema. Horror didn't die. It's just living in Asia right now. First off, stop being so fucking annoying. I hate you already. But second off, open your fucking eyes and look what's in other countries, because of the fucking gold mine shit. And this to me is like the newest, if not one of my most favorite. I'm putting this up there with the fucking Raid and how much I like it in foreign cinema. And you know how much I fucking love the Raid. I do know. Yeah, this was wild. Awesome. Sorry we have to follow this with a kind of a subpar shitty movie, but Firestarter. 2022. This movie looked very promising when the trailer came out earlier this year. Looked like, ooh, Firestarter, a film like notorious for being disappointing to King fans, is getting an updated version. Looks exciting. Zac Efron's a dad. Cool. And then the reviews came out, and people were calling this an abomination, a disappointment, one of the worst movies of all time. And it's currently sitting at a 12% Rotten Tomatoes score and a not generous audience score. I can't remember at the time. I think it's in the 40s at this point.
It's not good.
No. And then I watched it, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's what everyone hated. This isn't Firestarter. This is somebody trying to recite Firestarter after not having seen it for 10 years.
Someone trying to do something we don't want.
Any King fan is going to despise this movie, and anybody who hasn't seen Firestarter or read it is not going to know what the fuck is going on. This is a terrible movie. It's a terrible adaptation. Everyone involved should be ashamed of themselves. Except for the guy who played Rainbird. He did a good job. But the characters got butchered.
Yeah. I was like, the actors were trying.
Yeah. They were trying, but the writing was horrendous. All the characters, like all of their positive attributes, got wiped out. All that was left was a bunch of negative shit. I don't know why they keep trying to turn King characters into like superheroes. You know,
it's almost like they're really focused on that whole Shining aspect thing that links a lot of King's novels together.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning like, oh, we'll just make it as like a superhero power. I'm like, that's never been the point of them having those powers. They're just kids with this power.
They're damaged, broken kids because they're having to grow up super fast in a world that wants to kill them. That's not heroes. That's a horror movie.
Yeah, that's what's always made it work for fucking King.
Yeah. And once again, they've just uprooted King's story and thought, I can do better. And tried to write something in the same vein that just doesn't work. Everything about these characters has been completely shut off and replaced with weird attributes that don't match these guys. Like Charlie's kind of a little sadist who burns a cat alive. Zac Efron, Andy, is like a very angry, bitter father who really doesn't want to protect her so much as he wants to kind of get her out of his life. The shop is all but ignored, except for Captain Hollister, who doesn't really get enough development for you to even care about her. And Rainbird is portrayed as a victim. What the fuck happened? Did they even read it? Jesus Christ, man.
I'm going to assume no.
So yeah, I was just disappointed the whole time. I'm not gonna lie. I wrote the script for this episode while watching the movie because I was like, I could probably use my time better right now. Yeah, I was like, this is not the movie I wanted. I'm not enjoying this.
Like I said, I didn't hate it as much as anyone else did. There's elements I liked about it. On one hand, I liked the pacing and the fact that it was moving much quicker. I do feel like the original film slows down a lot when it gets to the shop. But then on the flip side of that, they were moving so quick, they never brought to establish a lot of stuff or let anything settle.
Yeah.
So it's just a lots of like, and now this happened, let's move on. And now this happened, let's move on.
I thought, what a tremendous waste of Kurtwood Smith.
Yeah, I'm tired of these actors like showing up in like one quick scene horror films and then they just disappear. But then the trailer will make sure to put their scene in. So we're like, hey, look, we got Kurtwood Smith. He's about to be in that 90s show. Red, he's here.
Yeah. This movie put its foot up all our asses. That's what it felt like.
But Rainbird, like I said, I think the actor. So again, right, things I like, but things I don't like. I like the performances. I think all the actors are actually like doing a good job and trying what they got, but I think they're not handed anything that great.
Yeah, I'll second that.
I do think actually Zac Efron, I know we joked about, but you can play dads now. I think I saw someone put it in as like Zac, he can play dads now, Efron, and I'm like, yeah, it's weird seeing that, but after seeing him, like he did good. Like you could tell, like okay, yeah, he's trying, he's doing what he can with what he has. Like, I believe him.
I saw a review that said Firestarter : Zac Efron needs to get his agent on the phone right now. Like, yeah, this sound on paper though, like a Stephen King adaptation of an 80s movie that didn't do great. It's like, this makes sense. I'd sign on for that.
Yeah, like, oh, we're going to try it. I do. Two other things I liked. I did like when we saw the fire damage. We actually kind of saw what it looked like when she does it to people. Like that one scene they lingered on with the deer in the car, like that looked fucking. The makeup effects in that scene looked really good.
Yeah, we just never got a lot of that.
No, we got like 2 scenes of it, I'd say.
And they didn't do really anything evil enough to justify their complete destruction. Like in the book and in the movie from the 80s, it's like, yeah, these guys, had her mom killed, but also they killed a lot of people using this experiment. We saw all that.
Yeah.
Like they captured Andy and Charlie, manipulated both of them, tortured them to get their powers out. Like, we hate these guys. And in this one, it's like, why do we hate these guys? Rainbird acted alone on a lot of this shit.
Yeah, they even established it like she's not supposed to be calling him. Like, he's off the books doing this. Yeah. Whereas in the original film, he was on the books. He was very much still involved with the shop.
And also not psychic.
Yeah, I don't know why they included him as having powers. That was weird. With that, before I get into like that whole ending, because I do kind of want to talk about Rainbird quite a bit for a little bit, because that was weird how they portrayed him. One quick last positive I have is that I really John Carpenter can do goddamn no wrong when it comes to scoring music. Holy shit.
John Carpenter could score just, anything. Like he could score a silent film of a dude taking a shit and it would be the most amazing thing ever. He's that good. And that's kind of what he did here.
I just think of like some dude taking a shit in the most epic synth score to ever be heard.
I'm picturing the music from Prince of Darkness is like, bah, 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 like, brah, like evil synth. This dude just, I would love it if he's like fully aware and he's like, every fucking time.
I would love the music from like Halloween Carols or the Halloween new ones before there's like that loud noise it does. When it's like, dun, 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 dun. And as soon as you're getting ready to find you just dun, 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 it does the fucking loud pickup noise.
Yeah, well, his music is the standout here. I want Carpenter to just randomly say like, yeah, I'll do that one. Yeah, I want that one. To just randomly score movies with no announcement. I want that so bad.
Can you imagine an MCU film? Let's say, what if we had gotten the Doctor Strange sequel, not just with Sam Raimi directing, but John Carpenter scoring it?
Oh my God. There's always Blade.
Stay alive on me, John Carpenter. Stay alive.
Well, hey, I know this is morbid, but even if we do lose, God forbid, if we lose John, we got Cody.
I want you to know that if that news happens, I will be out of commission for a week for all podcasts.
Oh, we will take a 1 week leave of absence out of respect.
I will be an inconsolable mess.
Yeah, I don't want to see that news.
You got a taste of it when you had to tell me the Wes Craven news, because you told me before I saw, and you got a taste of that and how I was quite sad and being up. It will probably be worse for Carpenter, if not on the same level.
Yeah, I understand. These people are vastly important to our lives.
But with that said, yeah, his fucking score, god damn, that man can score like.
It seems so effortless. Like I've seen videos of him composing. It's just like no look on his face of excitement. Just like, all right, there it is. And it's his most epic synth, like frightening, exciting score that he just pulled out of his ass in like 5 minutes.
It's yeah. And I love how like he's explained his process where like they give him the script. He starts kind of getting an idea when he's reading the script, and then they'll send him the footage, and he'll look at it and be like, okay. And then he's just like, I'm sure there's a lot going up in the head, but like what we see is a man just kind of sitting back, just going.
I'd love if he was like seeing the footage and he's like, this movie kind of sucks, but I'll try. Yeah.
You know that meme of like Phil Collins didn't have to go hard for us for Tarzan, but he did, and it's like the piano on fire. I want that with John Carpenter and his synthesizer.
Yeah, it feels like that. I mean, even his shitty movies have the best music.
He doesn't have to. He's like, it's almost like he's like, no. This is a John Carpenter film. Okay.
Like,
I'm scoring this.
yeah. Like if you Ghost of Mars sucks, let's be honest here. But that music is bitching.
Oh yeah. It's almost I wish someone was like, I want someone was like, okay, so look, man, try doing a bad score for once. Just the shits and giggles. And he's like looking at him like, are you stupid? I'm John goddamn Carpenter. I don't do a bad score. I shit out gold on that synthesizer.
I do love that the one time where he's like, I don't feel like it. Ennio Morricone stepped in and it's like, I'll give you one for the thing. And it's like, fuck yeah. It even feels like Carpenter.
It's still good. Yeah. I'm like,
yeah, it's like, I got this.
When I was first getting into film, really in Carpenter, I remember thinking like, oh yeah, that's a good Carpenter score. And then as I got older and I looked, I was like, oh shit, that wasn't Carpenter. I was like, that sounds so much like his score though.
I know, it's crazy. You should check out this album he did called Anthology from a couple of years ago, where he redid all of his film themes in like a modern twist, and they're all a little bit different. So bitchin'. He did everything from Dark Star to vampires.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Beautiful.
God. Yeah. Carpenter can fucking kill it. But on that, let's talk about Rainbird, because I'm with you on my feeling. Like Michael Gray Eyes does fantastic.
Yeah.
I have no issues with the performance.
Yeah, he was great.
Yeah, I have all the issues with the characterization. And when we first meet him and he's being an assassin and stuff like that, even with the powers at first, I was like, that's weird. But again, the performance was doing enough for me to forgive. Like, I was like, okay, I believe he's a silent fucking, like, don't want to fuck with this guy. Like, he will kill you. No problem.
Yeah. I'm a little bit tired of the, like, I heard you were the best, trope.
It's like John Wick brought it back in such a badass way that everyone's like, "Oh, we need to do that." I was like, "Well, no, it worked for that because you had a good fucking movie surrounding that entire trope."
They always forget that part. Like, you can't just replicate John Wick. You need to actually make something that people care about.
Yeah, I was like, "There's a lot of elements of that film that people like."
It's always laugh when like something comes out that's like revolutionary, exciting. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if the Sadness ends up being a huge hit. I wonder what kind of shitty knockoffs we're going to see.
I'm scared because I know immediately the first thing is going to be like, either going to be it's just shocking for the sake of shocking with no more story behind it, or they're going to be like, here's the social commentary, but we can't go as hard as that film did. Like, we need to calm down. And I'm like, then the point will not be made.
Well, then why are you here?
Yeah,
like, are you, you don't show up to Skullfuck and bail. Say like, well, no, I think I'll just, go for the throat. That's not this kind of party. We are here for a reason. It was on the flyer. Like, why are you here?
I would love like the director's like getting all these pitches. He's like, look, man, I don't know what party you think you're at, but we skullfuck in this movie. We have blood orgies. So what the fuck are you bringing to the table, huh?
I hope one day to conduct a job interview where I get to ask that question. Like, I don't care. I don't know what the job's going to be, but like in this company, we skull fuck. So what are you adding to this? Oh, that's fantastic. But yeah, it's like, if you're going to Americanize this shit, no one's like, it's going to suck.
Yeah. And then, like, to me, and this is the biggest thing. This was the biggest thing, and I'm sure you have a few things to say. The ending involving Gray Eyes. After he sat there, murdered her mom, hunted her down, and was the original film made a point, and again, this is right. So you have the original film that just said, "Hey, we're going to because apparently double down and get George C. Scott." And then further quadruple down later with fucking Malcolm McDowell. But at the very least, he's going to bring it performance-wise and make you believe those scenes where he's tricking her into being her friend stuff like that, and that's being built up, and it works. This one, it's like they went, hey, we're going to actually still give you the good performance, give you a Native American this time, but we're going to completely butcher characterization.
I feel like somebody, with the trailer, they were giving me a candy bar, and then I took a bite, and it was a piece of dog shit. That's what it felt like with this movie. I'm like, I'm finally getting my John Rainbird from the book, and no, I'm not.
No, apparently after at first I didn't mind the part where he was going to let her kill him. I thought, oh, okay, that's an interesting way to take this. Okay, the man's atoning for the bad she did. I can take it. And when she started, I was like, no, fucking kill him. Do it. Fucking do it. And then like she doesn't. And we have the scene where he comes out, takes her hand, and apparently is like going to help raise her now after he murdered her mom, which eventually led to a secret murder for dad. If you really want to butcher that, he murdered her family.
Yeah. Well, and like I just never bought a relationship between Andy and Charlie. There was too much resentment there that I didn't buy that they loved each other. It reminded me of the 2019 God of War at the beginning when Kratos is like, boy, like, I don't love you. Like, that's the vibe I got of like, yeah, there's no love here. She's just stuck with him.
Then just proceeds to call him boy throughout the goddamn game so they didn't come up with a name.
It's Atreus. He knows that.
I know, but what's funny is that, you know why he says it so much? He says boy so much. They came up with the name at the last minute. The Atreus.
Oh my God.
Already recorded the dialogue with him saying boy.
That is fucking crazy. Have you heard the outtakes of God of War?
No.
There's dialogue where the guy fucks up in character. Where like, and he'll just add stuff. Like there's a scene where Freya told Kratos to like look for something, and he forgot the line, and he's like, "Don't tell me what to do. I'm the fucking God of War." And like walks away, and it's so funny. Anyway,
I remember real quick. Then we'll go back. I remember the video game awards that year. Him and the kid who played Atreus did presented one of the awards, and they gave the fucking thing to the kid. And he pulled it out. He just was staring at. You could tell it was a bit, but he was just staring at it. And the dude's looking at him, and he also just listens and goes, "Read it, boy." To audience lost its fucking mind. This was like literally, after not until a couple months after the game came out. So people were just like, yeah, like, fucking losing their mind. Because it's become a meme at this point, how much he says boy.
Yeah.
In the goddamn game. So yeah, they had the nice they've reacted well to that. And yes, they played fun with it at the video game awards that year.
That's awesome. Can't wait for Ragnarok. But yeah, the beginning of that game reminded me of this relationship of just like a parent who clearly doesn't want this fire-breathing child. It's like, I got to deal with this now. And then to force her to kill him completely undermines her hatred of the shop that drives her to destroy the whole place in the book. Like Rainbird kills her father, and then she brutally kills Rainbird out of revenge and burns this fucker to the ground. The whole place. Like it's the climax of the book. It's a big moment, and we don't get it. We get like she kills a couple people, blows up a facility she knew nothing about, and then Rainbird picks her up and carries her down a beach.
Yeah, I remember when the credits rolled out. I had a moment of like, oh wait, that's it. It's credits now.
I also find it funny that every movie that even remotely involves Carpenter has the exact same font in the opening credits. Why is that?
I don't know.
Studio 666, Firestarter, and Halloween Kills all had the same font. In all fairness, this film had the exact same goddamn poster as the 84 film. They weren't trying very hard to begin with. At least they didn't have the paragraph of text explaining what this movie was about, which the 80s poster had. Like, this is Charlie. She has fire powers. Her parents were in an experiment.
So many like 80s and even the decades before that, their posters do that shit. Like 80s and prior have so many movie posters where essentially they put like the fucking plot on the movie poster.
I guess because you couldn't go home and look up the trailer. Like you had to go to the movies and hope they played the trailer for a movie you wanted to see. And then if you wanted to see that trailer again, you had to see the movie again.
Yeah. And also, for a long time, movies were roadshow attractions. For anything, they just went to different cities. So you just had to hope it made it to you.
Isn't that crazy? That like it was like a concert. You just hope it would come to your town so you could see it. That's insane.
And then you had to hope the quality was good because it was like one fucking real film of highly, destructible film where we're just being tossed to a new place.
I'm so glad I'm a film buff now and not in like 1962.
God.
What do you mean you don't have The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance? I thought it was coming here this week. What do you mean June?
It fell off the truck.
That could fucking happen. The reel could get lost in the desert somewhere. Yeah, but Firestarter sucked. I'm giving this a 4.
You actually give something below a 5.
Yeah,
below 6.
It was the buildup, it was the anticipation, and it was the complete, like, just ignoring of King's source material, which I can't fucking stand when they do this to a book that I read and enjoyed. Like, why did you even want to make this into a movie?
When I texted you, I felt like I accidentally came off as attacking you, and I felt anger, and I was like, "Oh God,
yeah,
you not mean to anger you."
You opened a door that was slightly open, and you forced it open, and all of that kind of went at you.
I was like, and that's why I was like, I didn't mean to, I was just like legitimately wondering the stance here, why the line's drawn, and then when you explained, I was like, oh, well, okay, I get that. That's fair. I was like,
I'm not unreasonable. I don't ask for much.
You're just funny. I was like, hey, I'm not coming at you. Goddamn. Just wondering.
Yeah, I just think, if I read the book and I enjoyed the book and you want to make a movie of the book and you don't use the book, why did you even want to fucking make this movie?
Yeah, no, I get that. And I'm one of those that, like, if you're gonna make and I think I said it, I was like, if you're gonna make deviations, at least have the heart of the soul of the story be intact.
Yeah, that's why like The Mist didn't bother me. The ending is much different.
Oh yeah,
the movie and the story, but the soul of it is still there.
Yeah, and I actually prefer the ending of the movie to the book.
Me too, actually. And so does Stephen King.
Yeah, it's a far better ending.
Yeah.
Even I know King hates The Shining, and there is elements enough there for me to go like, no, there is elements from the book still there enough for me to get behind what Kubrick's doing. Yeah, it's very deep. It's very cold. It's very deep, but it's there.
Well, and also, personally, I saw The Shining years before I read the book, and that can have an effect. Like, I'm sure this doesn't bother you that much because you never read Firestarter.
Well, and that's what I've been saying. This is probably why I told people, like, why it doesn't affect me as much, because I haven't had the chance to read Firestarter yet. There's plenty of Stephen King books I've read that I'm sure if Dark Tower. I saw Dark Tower after I had read all of the fucking books. I've read the comic book, the prequel comic book series. I have consumed Dark Tower. So when I saw that movie, and my excitement turned quickly into anger, and anyone that was like, "Oh, it wasn't that bad," I'm like, "Fuck you! It was terrible. How dare you say that?"
Yeah, see that there it is. There's what I felt towards Firestarter. Dark Tower level resentment.
Yeah. Oh God, fuck that man. I look, not to give any hints to the movie schedule, but before you remind me of a certain film you want to do for a certain other adaptation coming out, I had written down the Dark Tower on the schedule because I was like, you know what, let's go down that travesty again. But then I was like, oh wait, Connor requested a certain one. I was like, let's do that instead, and then I don't have to watch it again.
Well, I mean, it's up to you. Like,
nope, we are doing your request. Shut your whore mouth.
You're welcome. Yeah. All right. That makes more sense anyway. Yeah. Dark Tower. I don't want to watch that again.
Yeah. But yeah, no, so that's what I say. I get it. And I say, like, if you're going to, like, so I understand when it comes to like film or TV or wherever you're adapting the medium to, it's not going to translate as well that what was written in the book, especially with King. People talk about it all the time. It's very fucking hard to adapt King with the way he writes characters.
Yeah.
But if you're just doing it and completely foregoing anything that makes sense in regards to what the book had established and just saying, "Oh, we don't really care," and you can't even feel the soul or anything, I get it. And based off what you're telling me how the book goes and what they did here for changes, it's actually kind of lower in my score because I'm like, I don't like that as much. Like, I like the idea that she kills Rainbird and burns it down. Like that was all. That sounds like a better build up than what we got here.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get it. I do. I get it, and it does suck because like you said, it wasn't even that long ago that we got It Chapter 1 in 2017, not that long ago, and we were all like, oh shit, it's back, and Castle Rock came out, we're like, oh shit, here we go, and then
we got Dr. Sleep, which I thought was a faithful adaptation and a really good
am
movie.
so fucking pissed still that no one fucking saw that in theaters.
Yeah.
That was
I think that proved that like they don't have to try as hard. And I think that's what happened. I think if Dr. Sleep had been a huge hit, they would have tried harder on some of these.
Yes. I'm thinking like they looked at me like, oh, we kill you, don't have to try because they don't care. Because I know a lot of people, I like It Chapter 2 more than most, but I know a lot of people that do not like it. And I understand where they're coming from because how much they hyped, how scary it was going to be, how more intense it was going to be.
Yeah.
And it was actually much fun. It was more funny. And a lot of the scares were cut away to do a fucking joke. A lot of the times I noticed where even I was like, wait, this isn't.
Well, it part 1 is scarier. It's a more well put together movie. It Chapter 2 is way too fucking long.
It's like almost 3 hours long.
Yeah, it does not need to be. I've gone back and watched the first It a couple times. I've only seen It 2 once at the movies. I thought it was good, but it's too much.
Yeah. I'm with like again, I like more than most, but again, even I'm like, nah, Chapter 1's the better film. Like this one's good, but I don't have an urge to go back to it as much as I do the first one.
Yeah.
And then Pet Cemetery, again, I thought it was decent enough, but still missed the mark for me. I know for a lot of people they fucking really despise it. I still think the marketing decision to fucking just put that out in the marketing was horrendous.
Yeah, I think that for me, I think Gerald's Game might be the best recent Stephen King adaptation.
Mike Flanagan again, and yeah, look at
the new Darabont.
It's interesting. What's interesting is he picks the stuff that people are saying are impossible too. Like so many people said, like of all his books, Gerald's Game is the most impossible book to adapt because of what the story is. And he said, "Hold my well, I don't want to say hold my beer because he was an alcoholic. He's sober now. Hold my drink. There you go." I learned a lot. Yes, I learned a lot of this stuff after he wrote a very nice article on Blade discussing what Midnight Mass and how personal that show was to him and a lot of stuff it touched with things that affected him in life.
Well, he killed it with Gerald's Game.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet, but I heard he fucking crushed it.
That is one of King's weirdest and most uncomfortable books, and I can see why people were like, "How do you make this into a movie?" But Flanagan pulled it off so well. There's a scene in that movie that is one of the most
the handcuffs. I've heard about I've heard about how intense that is and graphic.
But it is possible, and to stay with the source material while also putting your own spin on it and making it your own, you can do it. Mike Flanagan has done it twice.
I will say I can't speak on behalf of Gerald's Game, but in the case of Dr. Sleep, he definitely pulled it off because again, the impossible task of that was that he wanted to make a movie that was both a sequel to the book or an adaptation of the book, but a sequel to the goddamn movie that's nothing like the book. And he pulled that off so well. Like you were saying, he maintained the heart, he maintained the core themes of the story while still making it a sequel to the original film and still having enough deviations to make it his own thing, but it still worked in the context of it being a King adaptation.
Yeah. Whereas Keith Thomas just said, fuck it. Which is kind of crazy. It's just like his second movie.
And the writers. I'm not gonna put all the blame on Keith Thomas because he got handed the script.
Yeah, but he could have said, he could have done well, maybe we go closer to the book or something. Like, what's this?
Maybe I don't know who to blame with this because Blumhouse, man, they'll have something like The Invisible Man or Halloween 2018, and then they'll have something like this Black Christmas 2019 where I'm like, what? Fantasy Island, where I'm just like, what the fuck is going on, Blumhouse? What?
Production companies, they put a lot of their chips on a lot of different projects. They're not all going to be winners. I get that. I don't put a lot of blame on Blumhouse. This goes to the writer mainly. and the director, I think.
Yeah, I would say writer director in this case.
Yeah. God damn it.
Because I don't know if any production now, if production issues come to light, then yeah, you can definitely put blame on Blumhouse, but I don't know of any production issues on this film.
I love that in this episode we got a future potential epic Filmgazm episode with the sadness, and we got a really disappointing potential Beyond the Bad episode with Firestarter.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that sucks. If it wasn't for the sadness, this would have been a shit week.
I'm so glad sadness came out the week it came out.
Yeah. And sorry I didn't get to watch Operation Mincemeat, which I want to see still, but time got away from me. And yeah.
You know what? I know you said, so I might be surprised, but if Austin wants to, I don't know if he has Shudder or not, but if he does and he wants to brave, because I know Austin listens to a lot of our episodes. If he wants to brave one day, the sadness.
He's got a 3-year-old walking around. I think he might have to pick his moment with.
That's what I'm saying. If he has a moment, Austin, if you're listening, if you have a moment, because do not show this film around your 3-year-old for God's sakes.
Oh my God.
And you're willing to take the plunge of some truly depraved stuff. Check out the sadness. I think you might be surprised by how good it is.
Oh yeah. Well, I think that about wraps it up for us here.
Oh yeah, don't watch Firestarter. You're fine.
Yeah, I'm so glad I didn't watch this in the theaters. I would have been so pissed.
Yeah, I should have just stayed home and watched it on Peacock, especially because technically I was supposed to because of my whole like resting my toe bullshit. But I was like, I got the ticket just to be safe. I could have gotten it reimbursed, Bruce. I just didn't want to.
Well, that's on you.
Men better be good.
It's A24 doing a horror movie, so I don't fucking know. I can't gauge this by the critics. I don't know.
I mean, they did X, so
yeah, but they did It Comes at Night.
You don't let grudges go.
Not when it happens to me repeatedly. No,
you don't let them forget. Goddamn.
No, it keeps happening. Saint Maud, like I remember all of these. But Men looks promising. It's also all we've got.
It's another like it's amazing what happens when we're not having a year of like delayed films all coming out in one goddamn weekend.
We picked the wrong fucking year to launch this show. Last year, Jesus Christ, that was burnout like I'd never experienced before.
It was literally like, well, we can't release this shit in 2020, so 2021, here we go.
Yep, open wide. Here it comes.
In 2022, they're like, no, this is a normal year where we have like the occasional super big film coming out and then like mostly like one small thing coming out.
Last year we got positively skull fucked with movies.
Yeah, we did. And don't worry, next week I know for a fact next week's Shudder film not nearly as extreme. It's actually a documentary that I'm looking forward to on the found footage subgenre of horror.
Oh, I might watch that one as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, cool. It's all about found footage, and it looks pretty good. And I'm a sucker for a good documentary, especially that era of film, because it's a very interesting era for me. It's when we got our torture porn, and we're like, found footage, let's do that.
It's weird how horror always has these waves.
Yeah, it's right now to me the wave is so unpredictable because I thought it was a Stephen King renaissance, which I mean is happening, just not the way I think we assumed it was going to happen. And it looks like the slasher renaissance might be what actually goes back into full swing.
Wish the sadness would open the floodgates for just depraved zombie movies.
I keep hope. I am waiting for the day that like torture porn.
I thought you said torture porridge. I'm like, what's that?
I don't know.
Aggressive oatmeal.
I'm waiting for the day where like, since apparently this is all, it's all a cycle. It's all a vicious circle that we're living. Eventually the torture porn era that a lot of older horror fans love to fucking turn their noses at. But I fucking, I was a teenager, so it's very important. Years of film for me. Yeah. I'm waiting for that like gets its love again, and we start seeing, like you said, with the sadness, like just these extreme mainstream again fucking horror films come out.
A lady in this in this week's movie, a lady got skull fucked. A dude cutting off his foot means nothing to me now. Like, bring it on. I don't care. You're gonna affect me with that shit. Try harder.
You better be careful with this, because this is how I ended up watching stuff like a Serbian film, and I become a much more changed.
No, never happening. Not with that one.
Sure.
100%.
I feel like
I'm not watching a dude fuck a baby. It's not happening.
I feel like I gotta get you to watch this movie.
Absolutely not. I would like to maintain some joy and excitement in life, so don't take that away from me.
I still have joy and excitement. It's different now.
See, that's a terrible endorsement. Jesus Christ. Okay. Thanks for listening, everyone. Feel free to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter at Filmgazm Productions. Check out the website, filmgazm.com, where we have reviews, articles, and trailers of upcoming films, as well as all of our episodes of all 4 shows. You can email us at filmgazm@gmail.com or send us a message to the socials for recommendations or feedback or whatever you want to say. If you want to support the show, you can click on support this podcast on your preferred provider. We appreciate it. Next week, we'll be discussing the A24 horror film Men, starring Jesse Buckley and Rory Kinnear. All the buzz surrounding this film appears to be positive. I'm sure it's going to make for an interesting episode. And we'll also try to check out that found footage documentary. It sounds intriguing.
I mean, I'm for sure going to check it out.
Yeah. Well, I've got an event that I will tell you about after this that might get in the way of me watching that. So hopefully I'll get to it. If not, you will share. Don't miss Bronson on Wednesday's Filmgazm, Green Lantern on Fridays Beyond the Bad, and Ex Machina on Oscar Sunday. Have a great week. Keep watching movies.